Is up, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen? Day traders, closet swing traders. Hope you guys are doing fantastic. Hope you guys all had a good weekend. Hope you guys stayed out of World War III. There's a lot going on. A lot going on. We got Albert in house. Good morning to you. We got Anna. Good morning. We got Andy, Bill, Sydney, Corey, Jason, Jay. Good morning to Kevin, Lenandro, Lauren, Marius, Miguel, Micus, Randy. We got Tim, Win. All my peeps of YouTube land. We got Honey Roy. All my other lurkers just hanging out in the backgrounds. It's okay. I still love you. Make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe button, that little thumbs up. It goes a long way. Richard Jets in the house. Good morning to you. There's an echo, says Albert. Does anybody else hear echo? Type a one if you do, type a two if it's a no. Sound is good. Albert, just you somehow. Not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure how that's playing out. Sometimes they just exit and kind of come back in. I've noticed helps. I notice helps. But yeah, we had a news-packed weekend. So obviously the big news, and we heard, I think it was like Thursday, Friday, that Iran was planning on sending some missiles over to Israel, not in the friendly, like, hey, here's some missiles, like just launching them out there, which did take place this weekend. So market was a little scared on that one. You would think oil futures would be ripping. You would think that the market would be dropping. But Iran said that they're done. Now it depends on Israel if they're going to counterstrike, and then we go from there. But market's gapping up. I'm a little surprised on the gap up. A little bit surprised. Not only that, but we're gapping above Friday's open price. So that's pretty good. We're above Friday's VPOC, obviously. We're above that Wednesday VPOC as well. So starting to climb a little bit above support. Wave countdown wise. So let's say that this is just all this turns out to be one big channel. Let's live in this reality for a second. If this turns out to be just one big channel down, right, as we pull back, which very well could be, we're smack in the middle of it now. I got the next resistance sitting at probably 517.51. Maybe we get to like 518.66. But what I was saying before is if this is a wave countdown, I don't really see too many waves. I think this has got to be the ABC from before. Maybe this is our 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is our new ABC. And it was just a little resting period, potentially. But more than likely, I think this is probably our first move. This is one. This is all really inside, so we didn't really break through, but maybe this is two. This is three. Get a little more chop, and then we're good. I don't know. I don't know how we're going to play this out, but market has been very, very tricky, very trappy this month. Targets have been tough to hit. So we'll see. We'll see how it plays out. But it is a gap and go today. Still inside day. We still got that 20-day moving average right above us. So 515.98, somewhere in that zone. I got to play cautiously bullish. And the positivity is that they are starting to buy the dips up. Can we get geopolitical macro news anywhere? Yeah, possibly, but you do have a double bottom that came in end of day Friday on a smaller time frame. We hung out, we got some kind of gap up, so maybe this is turning into some kind of wave one. We get a pullback. If we do, 513.50 would be my support that I'm looking for, and then see if we get a bounce off of that. But okay, still inside day, but it is a gap and go. Like I said, I was kind of expecting to kind of come into a negative day with just everything going on over in the Middle East. So we'll see what happens. We got the Qs, same thing, little gap up. Let's see where a Fibonacci is on this one. I think we could do a fib on this. This one never really broke out of that candle, so SPY's been a little bit weaker. This was a gap and go, so if we could get above that candle, that's great for the Qs. But 618 puts us at we're above the 50%, so that's 441.63. So if we're gonna get a rejection spot somewhere around 442.70 is where I'll be looking. I got a VPOC from over here. 443.07. So those are going to be the key spots I'm looking for. Uh, it's a gap and go, so I do want to remain a little bit more bullish. Maybe we get a little selling at open on this one. Little pullback on the cues, and then we'll play the direction of the gap. I don't know. It is getting tricky. All right, we got TLT. And then if you guys got tickers or anything you guys want to take a look at, make sure you guys throw those into the chat. Crypto's another one over the weekend. Yeah. Crypto's another one. We got TLT. So that one with a bigger gap down. So bonds still not really believing this rally. It's ay. That was this one should have been a gap and go. This was a failed one. Gapping underneath that strong pivot into one little support from these 2 days back here. If we start to break that, the next spot for TLT takes us to like $89. Let me see if crude is jumping up. So we're 84. So they actually pulled back a little bit. So markets are believing that at least for now, they're actually leaning toward no Israel counter. It's looking like. Oh, we'll see. All right, let's take a look at let's go to Bitcoin first. BTC, USD. Roger says Met. You mean Met or Meta? We'll take a look at both if you want. We got Bitcoin. Bitcoin is so yeah, they had a pretty big Sunday. Was it Sunday? No, Saturday. Saturday, pretty big pullback down to 61.20, 298. It did hit a little bit of support down in the zone, slightly broke through it. I think we got to this one, almost this next level down here, which we have a decent support. It's a little bit of support down there, and more. I mean, we're just chopping sideways. We got a big range, but we're chopping sideways. We're about 50% into this thing, with the next little resistance at 675, 572, or 67, 572. We're also gonna have that 20-day moving average kind of coming in, holding us back. So we'll see if we get some chop fests continuation here. Coinbase is uh pretty much flat for $245 stock. Yeah, it's got good support down here. So again, if you're going to play risk to reward, you're looking at least. So here's our channel on this one, and it's very similar to Bitcoin too. But here's the channel that we have. At least we're toward the bottom portion of it. So if you are trying to go bullish, maybe stop under here somewhere. Problem with this one is you're going to have resistance start to creep in. That's going to be probably 256. We'll call it 257. So we have about 257 would be the resistance on this one. So it's still a decent $12 move higher. So the nice thing about this range is you do have a lot of room to make some money. And it is technically a gap up, but not by much. Very, very small. So we'll see. Not a great close on Friday. In fact, there was a gap and go to the bear side of things. And then we still got one other level of resistance we got to point out, 247.94. So unless you think that could break that, which we've now retested and we can get above it, great. But 256. Yeah, otherwise we're just sideways chopping on Coinbase for now. And probably will move. If Bitcoin could get a break, just didn't look like we were able to. Tesla laying off 10%. So we got 10% of the workforce being laid off. Again, Elon said that 2024 is probably looking for a little bit more of a struggle. The layoffs are a signal of that. Again, the Asian markets, they've been selling or they've been delivering fewer vehicles. And I think that has a lot to do with the passage of transport and a whole lot of other just conflict and the Chinese economy and all that stuff. So I'm not sure. I don't know if Elon said where those layoffs are happening. If it's mainly U.S., mainly overseas, but 10% of the workforce is being laid off. Typically, that's good for a stock because then you're not paying out that kind of money. But Tesla, people are still looking at this thing. It should be a growth stock. They're still looking at this thing to just have crazy valuations. So laying off the workforce here, it's not really so much a money saving thing, but you're looking for the company's probably going through it, probably getting a little struggle bus. I think going to be more pressure on this one. This is a retest gap though. Let's see if we can get some kind of pop it open into like 171.41. And I think I was looking at the puts and calls on this one too. There's a lot of pressure to the downside on puts. Whether that could break through the 163.34, I don't know yet. Not sure. That's been a very strong level to beat so far. Let's check the volume as we got down there. So we got there twice now. Volume actually increasing there, so that's a little more likelihood this 163 could hold. But there's a lot of puts being purchased last week on Tesla, so that should have a little bit more downside pressure. From some of the big money coming in too. We got GS, Goldman Sachs, GS, but Tesla kind of a little bit range bound in there as well. It's good to see at least pre-market they're trying to buy it up. Looks like it just pulled back on looking at the other chart. Goldman Sachs, is this earnings? So Goldman Sachs beat by 32% earnings per share. They beat 9.84% on the revenue portion of things. That is a good gap. Volume was increasing. I'd have to go a little bit more bullish. Resistance is right there. So look for targets about 407, just above 407 somewhere. I would have to play this one. I think we are trapping some bears. This one did come into a nice little resistance though, so I'm wondering how many of these bears got out down here at their price target. We'll be cautious on this one. We'll see if we can get a little pullback. I would love to buy it closer to 401.57. Get myself a little bit of risk to reward before this just consolidation period of VPOX. Otherwise, it does have some room to the upside, so I wouldn't mind trying to play that one. I like the fact that the volume was starting to increase on that down move, and we are getting above pretty much all of that. So I'll look to play Goldman to the bullish side. Would love to see. I'd go high wave. Give me a high wave candle out of the gate. We'll try to take that bullish. But if I take it, I'm looking for that 1.2. Probably not going to go for home run on it. Intel, so gap it up. I would appreciate this gap to be a little bit higher. Like if we got above Friday's candle, that would be phenomenal. But still we're gapping up, still at the lower range of this. Let's see if they got some news. Republican lawmakers criticize Biden administration after he reveals laptop-powered Intel chip. Video stocks. All right, so little gap up. Still at the very bottom of this candle from yesterday. Or from Friday. That was a pretty significant breakdown. Are we at some kind of support though? Any potential level? We probably got to be getting a little bit to the oversold side. We are running into some support down here. But they've had some negative sentiment, negative story on them for a little bit now. That is a deep pullback. So if you do like Intel for the long term, this is probably not a horrible spot to start to look. I wouldn't be going all in. You still have an untested VPOC down to like 32.61. So that's where I'd be targeting. And right now, momentum still looks like it's just kind of fading to the bear side. So we'll see if we can get a little chop here. This looks like probably a wave 3 that we're in now. So if this is a 1, 2, this is all 3. If we do get one more bounce, we can see a double bottom, higher low, or just one kind of newer low, take us into that 32 zone, which that's the spot I'd prefer to be buying. Otherwise, right now we're still kind of catching a falling knife. I think there's still some pressure to the downside of it. So we'll see what happens on that one. If they were gapping up a little bit higher above Friday's candle, I think that would be great sentiment. But if you are going bullish here, you do have good support. So you got good support at yesterday's lows, yesterday's VPOC, and then probably going to hit that resistance right at Friday's high, I would assume. It's just below the 0.76 on the daily. Intel. Just do a quick fib. So if we start this from here, yeah, anything below the 618, I don't love. Yeah, I gotta do that. No, I gotta flip this. Hold on. Hold on. Yeah, right below the 778. Not a great close. I mean, again, maybe a level we could hold, and there is that little pivot in here. But there could be some bulls in here. Even on a longer term picture. So I started my wave one from here. But even if we want to go out a little further, I think we're still in the same position. So I think this is our ABC from the previous move. I think this is all one, two. This is probably three. Even if you get a bounce, the bounce, it's going to take a couple days. It's not going to be day one, and then it's either here or here. One of those two. We'll see. We'll see on Intel. I don't think we have to rush into it, but if it does give us some kind of double bottom, something like that, I think that could be fun to watch. The weekly 100 is at 35.06. Getting close to it then. Getting close. All right, let's see. We got Cisco. Cisco. Who you with that same place? Uh, that's a good gap up. Man, I wish that 200 wasn't right there on the daily. Plus like half a dozen other moving averages. But that is a good gap and go. Not a lot of volume on Friday. The Goldman I like a lot better just on volume. And then we do have the 200 moving average right here. Earnings coming out this week. Not on Cisco, but we're starting to get into earnings season again. I know Netflix is going to be a big one Thursday. Kind of really start to kick off some of the earnings season. Just with all that resistance up there, I think this is a fade, even though it's a good gap and go. Plus, you have those moving averages. So I would say we get a better spot of like 49.17. It shouldn't move that much. It doesn't have a big range every single day, unless we happen to hit this day. That'd be a good one for it. We got 51, 54 all the way down to 49. So even with that candle, it's not much range on it. We'll see how that plays out. Let's see if we got Santilla says, "Good morning, sir. Market is up aggressively." Yeah, I think some people felt a little comfortable with some puts going into the weekend. So there is probably two things happening. I think we are trapping some of those bears from Friday. Just like, man, we're on the cusp of World War III. They've already said they're going to be bombing Israel. Israel's not going to like that. Israel's not. Israel's usually. And I'd be shocked if Israel doesn't counter. Honestly, they've been notorious to counter when attacked, and I think that's where the real issue comes in. I know I know Biden was trying to put a little pressure on them to not do that. We'll see if that works. And they already have kind of their hands full, but yeah, if they start to counter, that's where the issue comes in. So for right now, Iran did send some launch of missiles over there. I think for the most part, a lot of the missiles were shot down. And then Iran said they're done. I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if that counter comes in, but could get a little scary. We got Amazon, so Amazon's got a pretty decent gap to go. We do have resistance on this one, so 189.43. However, we're still in this uptrend, so that uptrend is good. We just legitimately hit, I believe that's all-time highs Thursday. So yeah, let's get this one up here. I'd rather play something strong. That's still going to be a big resistance on it, but I think it's probably a doable one to break through if I had to. Miguel says I don't really follow it too much, but I thought I read Israel attacked some of Iran's military highly ranked generals first. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, the conflict it didn't start 2 months ago or 3 months ago, whenever it was. Like it's been going on for decades. So it just depends on what time frame you want to pull up. That's it. But yeah, it goes back so far at this point where it's like, who shot first? I don't know. But either way, that's not. And again, so that's not good for commodities. If Israel strikes back, right? Obviously, and we saw oil kind of just jumping over the weekend. Futures jumping. Gold was an avenue for uh some kind of flight to safety. So we had that gold pumping over the weekend. Oil was pumping over the weekend because obviously Middle East got the largest move. In terms of oil, like I would think OPEC would be trying to get their oil price close to $100. I don't think they really want to exceed $100, but get close to it. Just because once you get past $100 oil per barrel, that's when the U.S. comes in and they start putting their oil on. So once we get past that, U.S. starts kicking in, we start producing, and then that gives them less pricing power. So $100 becomes kind of the sweet spot for them. So we're not quite there yet, but I think that's where they wouldn't mind trying to get there, try to make some extra money, depending on what happens. But yeah, if they do strike back, then there's other countries got to get involved. There's this other. We're a lot closer. We're a lot closer to a big breakdown. We got Meta. Again, this one still stays up in the higher end range of everything, just at a very, very strong support or resistance. So somewhere up in the zone, 519.89. It's been very, very strong. Earnings should be coming out soon. Yep. So when is this? This is April 24th. We got another, is that next week? Next Wednesday? So most likely, I think we probably chop until earnings. And then probably some of the calls and puts start to go up in value just in case. But I think this stock price probably in the zone. ORCL. Oracle. That one I kind of like. I think that one's sneaky. Probably target would be, yeah, it was a good breakdown, kind of bearish. Yeah, not a lot of volume. Mm, that's a sneaky gap and go. Let's see if we're at a good location on this one too. How much time we got left? We got 5 minutes. Let me get Oracle higher. Let's just see if we pulled back a decent amount yet. There might be some room in this one for us to work. We got right at that 50% retracement. So we had to close right underneath it. We got some moving average to support us. We got the gap and go. First target, and this might be all we get today, though, is 122.85. So not great. Um, with potential, I think we could get to stretch goal on this one would be like 123.39. So I'd want to be out by then. So I don't know if we get the good risk to reward on this. Otherwise, I think that's a decent gap. I like the fact that we're opening above that Wednesday range. We do have a little bit more room on this thing to potentially run up. That was like pretty weak close on it. Volume is kind of dwindling on Oracle, so not much there. Yeah, ATR, that's the same thing as the other one. Same thing as Cisco. So 258. We'd have to have a tight setup, but maybe we get a sneaky little win on that one. Not bad, not bad. All right, we got AMD. AMD. Why can't I type in M? There we go. AMD. So this one's obviously had some weak pressure on it. The downtrend is just not broken. I almost want to wait for a downtrend break. However, if you like AMD, if you like the chips, it's probably still a little pricey for the long term. Nvidia's, I think, got earnings coming out relatively soon too. AMD has earnings coming out the 30th. So next, was it next Tuesday, April 30th? What do we got? 2 weeks until that. So we got some earnings coming out soon, but this is a little bit of a decent support on this one that should hold right at a pretty good moving average as well. If we start to break under Friday's candle, I think the next stop takes us all the way down to like 148. So have your stops in placement, but this one's been a little bit to the weaker side. Still kind of hanging out. Yeah, we broke. Still kind of we were hanging out for a very long time in this one with good consolidation. I think we probably get more pressure to the bear side, if anything. But this is a gap and go technically. Support, I think yesterday's VPOC, so 163.34. However, I do think, especially with that consolidation, almost looks like a bear flag. I kind of broke in the bullish direction. So for me to really say, let's go crazy bullish on it, yeah, we probably got to get above 170.72, which is a mile and a half away at this point. But if we can get back up there and we start getting some closing, all right, we have a shot. Otherwise, those 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days of just sideways chop, all of that I think is some kind of resistance. All those candles were bought up too. So on this gap down, you probably did trap some people. I think if I had to take a trade, bearish, probably still continue to lean to AMD. And remember last earnings too. Last earnings, they kind of got a little bit crushed on those earnings, and then they started to rally probably 2 weeks after it. So I don't think there's too many people going like, all right, well, if we just survive to the earnings, we get saved. I think they're still a little concerned with it. CRM, there's a retest gap. Heading down hard pre-market. Is there news on CRM specifically? Initial wave of AI software growth to spur Microsoft. This is the same article as before. I guess we should read it. Major players in tech sector including Microsoft, Salesforce, Palantir, Mongo Database, Oracle, Snowflake, stand to experience a significant growth trajectory fueled by surge of investments. Doesn't look like it today. Not for CRM anyway. But yeah, that's a pretty big gap down. It is a retest gap. Depending on which day you want to use. From Friday, yep, definitely retest. And then even on this gap down here, this is still all kind of retest. I have a little bit of support over here. Otherwise, the next better support is somewhere around 280, 280.03. Santilla says, Neo, you think it's a buy? I think anything's a buy with a small amount of money. This thing looks like it's still breaking down, so you're just chasing lows. If you like Neo, if you think they have the real question is, do you think Neo's going to be around in 10 years? If the answer is yes, then yeah, probably slowly piecing into it would make sense. Buy small. Otherwise, I wouldn't be betting heavy onto this thing until I see some kind of good possible news. You got the EV effect, which that story's cooled off, and then they also got a heavy China effect, news effect to it too. So there's a lot of things kind of going against it, and they do burn through cash like crazy. So I would be a little concerned personally, but a little lotto ticket. The question again is if they're going to be around 10 years. If you think the answer is yes, looking at these prices are not bad, but I have to see a path to profitability. I don't see it yet. Otherwise, everybody on YouTube land, I appreciate you joining us each and every day. We do this every single day. The market's open from 9 to 9:30.